Hi, I'm Jared Falk, and today we're going to teach you how to mic your toms. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking, how we get such amazing sounding toms, and the man behind the board is largely responsible for everything that you are hearing, and that's Victor Guidera. But before he gets into exactly how he mics and the miking techniques that he uses, I want to first say, and this is what Victor always says as well, is it starts with really good drums, drum heads, tuning, miking, EQing.
Then tuning, then the player. I mean, how you hit the drum is, yeah, absolutely.
So those are all important factors into how your drums are actually going to sound. So today we're just going to kind of focus on the miking techniques that we use as far as positioning, as far as mic choice and stuff like that. So Victor, take it away.
So what we use and what Jared and I both, what's our favorite tom mic is the Sennheiser E604. And it goes along with it's this 600 series that Sennheiser has. It goes along with our bass drum mic, the 602.
Now, I want to point out, I really like these tom mics for aesthetic reasons as well. I love how they just clip onto the drums, and you don't see a ton of wires, you don't see tons of stands. In some of our older videos, we used, I don't even know the brand, but there's longer.
421s, and they have an amazing sound as well. So if you can afford, and they're also much more expensive, so if you can afford the look of them and the price, I'd recommend trying them out as well and comparing them and seeing what you think.
They're just really, really huge. So as far as video goes, I don't really like them, but if you're just focusing on audio and that's all you'll be focusing on, then I think they're a very, very strong, strong option. But with that said, let's just quickly talk about alternatives to the mics that we use. Okay, now there are the Outtakes line.
Yeah, the Apex also is a good bang for your buck as well, and they clip on as well. Just a little bit of a cheaper design on the actual clip, but it still gets the point across and it still works great. So.
Yeah. And so as far as price ranges, what can they expect to pay for like a 3-tom setup?
Right, just a 3-tom setup, no bass drum in the pack? Or?
Yeah, just for all the 3-tom.
Yeah, just the 3-toms. For the Sennheisers, I think they're about 100 a piece or so, maybe just a little bit less if you look around eBay and stuff like that.
Okay.
Apex should be about 20, 30 bucks cheaper, maybe a little bit less even. Okay. And they're still decent. And we've actually, in some of our old videos, used the Apex series as well.
Yeah. Cool. And so we actually mic top and bottom, and I'm sure Victor's going to get to exactly how he does that. So you guys can choose to do that if you have enough channels, if you have enough places to run all the cables. But most people, from my experiences, actually just run the tops, especially in a live situation. Exactly. I know in studio situations they'll make the bottom of the toms, but even then it's more of a rarity.
Right. Yeah, and that's a part of a personal preference thing and my experiences through the years, and that's what I've landed on, and I like to stick to it.
Cool. So with that said, Victor, let's just get into it and tell us exactly how you're going to mic up these toms.
Okay, so I'll just do the top first here. I'm just going to get to the front. Okay, so I'm just going to put the mic in, just going to place it, and then I'll come back to beside Jared there and explain a little bit. Okay, now if you saw in the how to mic a snare video, what we want to do is we want to point the microphone towards the center of the drum as much as possible, but we don't want to have any shells behind the drum where we can pick up leakage in that microphone. So generally what is a good rule of thumb is we point the microphone at the drum and we generally point them in this direction. So I could mic the tom from over here, but there's a couple things wrong with that. It'll probably be in the way of the sticks when you're playing, and it will get a lot of bass drum in the microphone as well. So, just like the snare drum microphone, the actual microphone is going to sit near the edge of the drum, and I'm going to try to point it towards the center, but with these toms, I'm not going to point it like the snare would be, where it's right at the center. Because if I do that, it's going to get a lot more snare in it, and it's going to get just a lot more of everything around it. So I'm going to make a little bit of a compensation here, and I'm going to point it downwards. Quite a decent amount. And also, if it's pointed really down, the tom will sound thin. And if it's pointed towards the center, it'll sound more meaty. So again, I'm trying to point towards the center, but not too far, because I don't want to get too much snare leakage in the microphone. And the height of it, approximately the 3-finger rule again.
Great, so now that you have that set up, what do you do with the bottom microphone?
Basically, it's just a mirror image. I'm going to try to mirror the angle that the microphone is coming in. I'm using a matched pair, and I'm going to match the angle and the height and just pop it on there. Okay, and then one more thing that you notice is that it's in line with the top microphone. The bottom microphone isn't way over to the side at all. Unless there's something in the way, the bass drum is in the way or something like that. I'd like to try to keep the same kind of vertical linear plane.
Cool, so that's pretty much it, you guys. We're not going to walk you through exactly mic each tom because the techniques are all very similar.
Yeah, for the rest of the toms, I pretty much do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So when you get over to the floor tom where there's cymbals, ride cymbals, and stuff like that in the way, you just may have to position the mic more downwards, like we were saying before, just to get out of the way of the cymbals. And again, if you're the player, you want to be comfortable, and if somebody else is a player, they've got to be comfortable. But sometimes you get the player to make a little bit of a compensation because everybody wants to be happy. You want the best possible sound, and you want the performer to perform properly.
Yeah. So you guys, this is how we mic our toms. You know, it's not the only way to do it, but we get a lot of positive feedback from the community, the online drum community, and they absolutely love the way our drums sound. So it's a really, really good start if you don't know exactly what to do, and then you can kind of figure out what works best for you, and you can tweak it and kind of make it your own. So thanks for sharing your knowledge with everyone, and in future videos, we're going to talk more about how we actually EQ the toms behind the board. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Do you know that I love you so much every day, you know?
Okay, so if you watch the snare, as we want to point the microphone. So another thing to be aware,
Oh, great. Now that you have that set, what do you do?
Oh, great.